What's up, boys? Been a minute since y'all heard my voice right. So before I jump straight into the fight, man, I want to go ahead and just give my credit to Leon Edwards, man. Leon, the story that the Countdown put on for this guy was remarkable. It really did tell his story, and the UFC really has a problem, or really had a problem, I would say, with promoting Leon Edwards, because he wasn't really he's a true underdog in life, man. He flew under the radar. The UFC literally was giving him that Tony Ferguson treatment, man. They didn't want to give this man a title shot because, to be honest, I understand why. They didn't want to put on this fight. The UFC did not want to put on this fight because they thought, with the way Kamaru fought back in the day, at least, his fights with Masvidal and his fights beforehand, they thought that it was probably, and I mean the first Masvidal fight, they thought that it would probably be a really boring fight. It'd probably be Leon backing up for 5 rounds, being overly defensive, and Usman just attempting takedowns and holding him against the cage. So, I kind of got it. Now, with that being said, like I said, I'm happy for Leon, man. He deserved it. For it to really go like this for him, not only is that going to build his stock, that head kick is going to get replayed over 1,000,000 times. That knockout was, in my opinion, I don't want to jump the gun here, but almost as crazy as the Masvidal Askren knockout. Only because it was literally, and I kid you not, 50-something seconds. I believe it was 56 seconds in the 5th round. Now let's spit game real quick. Let's talk game real quick. Now, I gave Leon his praise. I'm happy for the UK. I believe that this is the second English champion, or second champion from the UK in UFC history. So don't get me wrong, I'm happy for England, but I gotta be honest. I gotta call a spade a spade. Leon was getting his butt kicked up until that moment happened, and I know a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh my gosh, Edwards won the first round." He did. He took Usman down. And let's talk about that takedown. Let's break it down like round by round real quick. So, the first round where Rocky took down Kamaru Usman wasn't expecting it. And I know that may be clear, but everybody thought when people were saying about Leon and how he improved with his wrestling and his grappling, nobody thought that Leon was going to try and take down Usman. Leon was trying to take down Usman multiple times in the fight, and I thought that was weird. I was like, dude, if you're going to have an advantage, it's in the striking. When people said that Leon's grappling has improved, everybody thought, at least for the most part, is that his grappling improved in terms of it's gonna be harder for Usman just to take him down and manhandle him, not he's gonna attempt to take Usman to the ground and do whatever he tried to do. I was really thrown off when he did that, but I get it. He was trying to give Usman different looks, trying to basically show Usman expect the unexpected, So anyways, so then, after that, he did eventually take Usman down. Now, it was because Usman didn't expect it. Come on. Usman really had his feet close together, or at least close to Leon's, and Leon swept him. Now, when Leon got Usman to the ground, and I seen the little stat pull up that this is the first time Usman has been taken down in his career, yes, that is the first. I count that as a legitimate takedown. Not Colby's, where Usman went to all fours and he popped right back up. Come on, guys. That was the first time Usman has been legitimately taken down in his career. And I felt like I was in a dream. Didn't it look so weird to see Usman on his back? We've never seen that. I was shocked. And then when Leon took his back and was about to choke him out, who knows? Had there been more time on the clock, Leon may have finished him right then and there. But ultimately it didn't happen. But we got to see a great fight play out. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the fight. And, of course, I'm going to get to the moment that everybody's talking about. And basically, Usman started to turn on a little bit. It's almost as if he woke up and he went into Terminator mode. And he started fighting how Usman fights. And he was putting on a great performance, to be honest. He was backing Leon up. Leon was starting to slow down during the fight. Stop throwing as many strikes, especially as many kicks. And he just basically just let Usman just bully him. And then the takedown started coming easier and easier. And it looked like Leon was quitting. His corner really had to wake him up because Usman had started to dominate the striking. Leon would just literally just shell up against the cage and let Usman tee off on him. And when Usman was landing devastating shots to the body, I'm being honest, I thought it was over. I really did. I was like, Leon, this is how he typically fights. And this is about how I thought it was gonna go. I didn't know Leon was gonna win a round. I thought maybe he could win the second round or the first round. But, I mean, nobody expected it to finish like that, let's be honest. But I didn't expect Leon to take Usman down. I really didn't. Nobody saw that coming. And then the other thing was just Usman was really just starting to tee off on him, bullying him, pushing him around. And now we can go ahead and talk about the moment everybody's been talking about. Bruh, Usman got put out. And what's crazy is that it was 56 seconds left in the fight. It was so weird. That 5th round was so weird. This whole card was weird. This was a strange card. And it was so shocking because the way Usman went out, I mean, his face, it was like he had a very shocked look on his face and he was stiff. I was like, oh my gosh, this just happened to him. Come on, nobody. If Leon was going to win, you were probably expecting not a razor close decision. No, a razor close decision, or you could just see Usman get outclassed for 5 rounds. That's what we were expecting. Leon to land a lot of kicks, maybe touch Usman up from a distance, and pretty much outpoint him for 5 rounds. Nobody expected Leon to knock Usman out, especially when Leon doesn't really do that. And like I said, this guy is a true underdog, man. He got the biggest finish of his career against the biggest opponent in his career on the biggest stage of his career in the biggest fight of his life. He showed up. And it was a nasty KO that came out of nowhere. Like I said, the 5th round was so strange. It was because Usman stopped ultimately wrestling like that. I believe it was a separation. I believe it was a separation. And then the two just started standing in the middle of the cage and Usman started to back up. And it looked like Usman was trying to set up something. Maybe trying to back Edwards back up or shoot for a takedown in the middle of the cage. Or simply just coast. Or it looked like Usman was trying to find a way to knock Leon out. He was looking for the knockout. And I caught this before. If you go back and watch some of my past interviews, I believe it was the Masvidal fight that I made a prediction for. Basically, Usman, his defense, especially when it comes to strikers, he ducks his head. Every time a punch gets thrown at him, he ducks his head. He puts his head down and he ducks the punch. Like a wrestler. He fights like because people have to respect that duck. But when it came to this fight, Leon set up that kick because he was reading on the fact that Usman kept ducking to that side. And nobody's saying this, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. That's the same kick that John Jones landed on Daniel Cormier. Same kick. Usman dips his head to the side and gets met with the head kick. Except Usman went completely out cold. That was so strange. I couldn't believe it. Whenever I seen him drop, I thought he was going to get back up. I didn't think he was out cold. I didn't. And so when I seen that happen and they panned to the crowd, man, and I seen his daughter crying and hugging somebody in his family, and then you freaking idiot trolls screen grabbed that and is now posting that all over the internet. I don't know what's up with the hate of Kamaru Usman. There's even another guy, another content creator, don't really want to say his name, but you guys know, freaking fat British dude that, you know who I'm talking about, who is very ecstatic at the fact that Usman won. I get it. A lot of you guys think that Usman's on steroids. You think that he's a cheater. When he's tested positive he hasn't tested positive for steroids in his career, but you guys think he's on steroids because he has acne on his back when it could just simply be his freaking genetics. But you know what? I rest my case. Or I digress. But a lot of people were happy that Usman lost. Dude, I'm a fan of greatness and I'm a fan of the sport. I wasn't necessarily cheering for anyone. I was like, I love to see a guy have his moment, and I love to see a dominant winner. I love both, you know. A guy who wins all the time and pisses off all the hating fans. I love it because you continuously shut them up. I'm a fan of Adesanya because of it, you know, and I'm a fan of Usman But I also admire Edwards' work. I admire all these guys, man. I really try not to crap on any of them. I try not to be disrespectful to these fighters, man, because I realize how much, like, when you create something and it's art. Even with me in these videos, I know it's me to a lesser extent, and I know it seems like I don't give a damn about y'all anymore because I don't post, which is not true, by the way. I freaking love you guys, and you guys know that. It's just times have been rough, but I don't want to give any more excuses, or at least I'm not going to give them in this video. Anyways, whenever you create something and it's met with negativity, it really gets to you, because especially if you put your all into something and it's only met with criticism, it can really get to you, And I get that with fighters. That's why I don't try to critique athletes, man, or anybody in a way, because I'm not in their field of work, one, so I'm in no place to grade them. And then number two is that I can't sit here and hate on a person that's doing so much better than me. But I'm kind of going on a tangent. It's like I'm inspired by these guys. I don't sit here and hate on them. There is some fighters I don't like, but I don't cheer and get happy and rejoice in another man's shortcomings, unless it's Jake Paul or Colby Covington. Anyways, I'm kind of going on a tangent. So, basically, Usman gets put out cold, man, and it was bad. Like, dude, the picture is bad. Like, oh my gosh, that is so memeable. It's more memeable than Jorge Masvidal. Come on, that was much worse. And it was almost like it was karma, because the guy kept talking about his knockout win over Masvidal. He kept talking about it. And he kept throwing Masvidal under the dirt, when Masvidal, I know he was the one that got knocked out, but Masvidal has kept it respectful when it came to Usman, Other than he said that Usman really isn't nothing special in the feet. I mean, he's not. So, I mean, a big win for Edwards. Big win. But everybody's talking about Colby's next. Colby's next. No, he's not. It's going to be a trilogy. And like I said, stop. Talking to my dog, sorry. So, everybody's like, oh, trilogy. That is going to happen. It's not going to be Colby Covington next, and it's not going to be Chimaev next. They're going to run that back. And Dana even agreed that he would like it to be in England. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Leon, but he's going to have the crowd in his advantage. This time, Usman had the crowd in his advantage. So, it's going to be interesting to see. And plus, this is our first time seeing Usman as a challenger. Crazy. I wonder, is that going to... Not the first time, obviously. He was a challenger a minute ago. But we get to see, how big is his heart? Is he dedicated enough to climb that mountain again and beat Edwards? When I say the mountain, I mean he's going to get another fight. So let's talk about the trilogy. So, this happened, obviously. And I don't want y'all to get mad at me when I say this, but nobody else is saying that it was kind of lucky. It was kind of lucky. Y'all don't see... And whenever I say lucky, Edward was getting his butt handed to him. He was. He was getting beat up, taken down, beat up, taken down, beat up, taken down. He wasn't even opening up anymore. And it's like Usman took his brake off the... Took his foot off the brake. Or sorry, put his foot on the brake. And it's like he stopped. He started coasting, it looked like. It really did. It looked like he just wasn't giving 100% at that moment. And he got caught lacking. I mean, it happens, dude. It happens. We all gotta lose someday, We all lose. But, I mean, it really seemed like the fact that he took his foot off the brakes, it cost him. It really did. Or took his foot off the gas. It costed him. And it costed him brutally, to be honest. And so, what's next is the trilogy. And, like I said... Had that kick not landed, Usman had 56 seconds to retain his title. Had it missed, or had he not ducked his head. Now, Leon didn't throw that kick by accident. I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm trying to say is that I just feel like it was a blessing, man. I feel like he got blessed with that kick, because it was a beautiful kick. And like I said, it was a beautiful technique, the way he set it up. I'm not saying the fact that the kick landed was lucky, but the fact that he landed it and knocked him out with 56 seconds left, come on, that just seems like a bit of a high-fetched scenario, I mean, he was literally under a minute left. It seemed like Usman lost this one more than just Edwards won, because he was getting outclassed. So, I hate to say it, but I just feel like this is another Juliana Pena situation. Because, yes, he won in a hype way, the same way how Juliana beat Amanda, and it just seems like in the trilogy, Usman's going to come back better than ever. If Usman has the heart, and he has the courage, and he has the... If Usman really wants it, this should be a really good trilogy. Because we would see the best of Leon Edwards. Because Leon, you got to retain it, you know. He has to prove that it's not a fluke in his hometown. So it's going to bring out the best in Edwards. But I hope it brings out the very best in Usman. And then we will really see. If Edwards beats Usman, all the pressure is going to be on Usman. All the pressure is going to be on Usman. Most of it, at least. Because Usman got knocked out. And I know he's going to use it. I mean, because why wouldn't he? That's how you market that fight, is saying, oh man, he caught me. He caught me. And that's simple. He got caught. He was winning and he got caught. It happens, man. And so, for the trilogy, we're going to see the best of both the opponents. But I only see Leon improving from here, man. I only see him being able to stop Usman's wrestling even more. Now, I did think that Usman has been working a little bit too much on his striking. And he left his roots a little bit. That's why I felt like his wrestling looked a little rusty today. I mean, the dude got swept and put on his back. His wrestling definitely looked rusty. And he got taken down by a striker. So I do think he's going to really brush up that tool. Hopefully he goes and splits his camp somewhere else between Whitman. A lot of people are saying Usman should leave Whitman, which I think is really, really dumb. I think that's really dumb. I just think that Usman should work on his wrestling a little more. Because he still is, that is what he is. He's not a striker. He's not a striker. He can get as many knockouts as he wants. He's not a striker, though. So, he's got to go back to his roots. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the other fights, because I'm really going on about this one. But, yeah, the trilogy is going to be huge. And it's probably going to happen in the UK, baby. And it's going to bring out the best in Edwards and the best in Usman. As of now, I got Usman winning because the way this fight went. I just feel like that scenario just isn't going to happen again. And Leon's going to have to find another way to win. And if we're being honest, how is he going to win? He got proof tonight that he can't. We've seen that he can't really stop the takedowns after a certain point. He gasses out. He slows down. So, I mean, you know, he got that kick. But that may not be there to save him in the trilogy. Anyways, so now we move on. Okay, so now we move on to the WTF fight on the entire card. I mean, there was two of them. This was a weird card, man. But this was by far the weirdest fight. Luke Rockhold versus Paulo Costa, obviously. Now, Luke Rockhold retired, and that was very sad to see, obviously. It was a sad moment, but Luke needed it because, I mean, he should have retired, honestly, when he got knocked out by Jan Blachowicz. He should have retired, and he came back, and he took this one. I'm not sure why he did. Maybe he just got an itch and he just wanted to fight. He was very angry leading up to this, and his performance did not represent that anger. I thought he was going to bring a war to Costa, and he did, but not in the way that I thought. That was pretty much a bar fight, man. It was that wasn't the highest level of martial arts. Let's just put it that way. Definitely wasn't the highest level of martial arts. Yeah, they did not look top 15. They did not at all. They looked like I don't know. It was a weird performance by both men. Both men gassed out, especially Rockhold. Rockhold was so tired, and it looked like he was in pain. It looked like he was in literal pain. And the way that it started off, Costa was trying to wrestle Rockhold when I thought that it was going to be the other way around. I thought Rockhold was going to try and wrestle Costa. And then it seemed like Rockhold just completely fell apart after that wrestling sequence. Costa got on top, started pounding him a little bit, really roughed him up in the clinch. He roughed him up in that first round. And Luke didn't win a round, by the way. And the rest of the fight was just weird after that. I was so confused. Luke was tired. Now, it was a barn burner because Luke started landing big punches in that third round. But, I mean, he was exhausted. And his face was all marred. And in that ending sequence where he was wiping his blood all over Costa, oh my gosh, that was disgusting. I don't know why he did that. I do know. Costa had that What'd you put it? How do you say it? Luke was on top, and Costa had him kind of cradled. He was pushing his head down, and Luke was trying to get Costa to let him separate. So he started doing that to see if Costa would loosen his grip and let Luke get up. And it didn't work, obviously, and then the round just ended. But yeah, not much to break down other than it was just a war of the gassed out. It was a bar fight, it was a street fight. Literally, that's what that was. A bunch of explosive kicks, a lot of good kicking techniques from both men. I mean, both guys are nasty kickers. But I thought we would see a lot more from Rockhold, man. And that was kind of a disappointing point. I mean, he completely got discombobulated. He was not him. It did not look like the Luke Rockhold of old in there. The Luke Rockhold of old maybe have still lost, but he would have put up a much better fight. A much better fight. Weird fight, man. Weird fight. And then we go to an even weirder fight. Aldo versus Mirabe. I still can't freaking pronounce his last name. But I'm going to keep this brief because there's not much to say about this fight other than Aldo just had no offense. Mirabe kept shooting for takedowns. I kind of expected it, but I mean, dude, you got none. How many takedowns are you going to shoot? But I mean, that's just his will. He never stops. And Aldo didn't even begin. So, hey, man, I can't be mad at Mirabe. He fought his fight, or at least tried, and Aldo didn't. And, man, it sucks for Aldo because, I mean, this is just going to put him back. He was on his way to a historical run at bantamweight, and it looked like after he won this fight, he was going to get a title shot. And, I mean, he just didn't show up. It's simple. He just didn't show up. And you can't get mad at Mirabe for taking advantage of the situation, to be honest. So, I mean, what's next for these guys? Mirabe is saying he doesn't even want to fight for the title, which is weird because Aljamain Sterling holds it. I mean, come on, dude. And, which I was expecting Aldo to win, so I was expecting Mirabe to not even have to worry about it, but he keeps winning, so it's probably going to be in his future soon. And Dana was pissed because Mirabe is really underselling himself. That's not how fighters supposed to fight, or supposed to talk. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the podcast, let me know down in the description or down in the comments. It's been your boy Trippy. Feels good to be back. I'm back to regularly scheduled uploading. And I'm out, man. Peace.